If you're watching this video, you probably want to know about one of the easiest and most straightforward ways to get a green card, which is the EB-2 NIW category. Through this process, you can self-petition for a green card. This way, you don't need to worry about the formidable task of convincing an employer to sponsor you. Also, you neither need a lot of money nor need to marry an American. Well, if that's the case, you're in luck. I received my green card in the mail through the National Interest Waiver Program, also known as NIW, just last week.
Hooray!
That's what led me to create this video to share my experience with a broader audience and shed light on this mysterious process. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ehsan. I first came to the US in 2016 for grad school, where I did my master's and PhD in electrical engineering at the University of Pennsylvania. I moved back to Vancouver, Canada in 2020 and returned to the US in early 2022 on a TN visa when I received an attractive job offer. EB-2 NIW is an employment-based green card category that enables you to get a green card without needing an employer to sponsor you. Normally, you would need to convince an employer to spend many thousands of dollars and file a ton of paperwork over several months to sponsor you for a green card. With the NIW category, you file a petition yourself to demonstrate that you're so good at some important thing you do that is in the national interest of the United States to waive the employer sponsorship requirement for you to get a green card. That's where the name NIW comes from, National Interest Waiver. Also, EB-2 is short for Employment-Based Second Preference. To be eligible for an EB-2 NIW green card, first you should meet the requirements for the EB-2 category, which is either having an advanced degree, meaning a degree beyond a bachelor's degree, having an equivalent of an advanced degree, meaning having a bachelor's degree plus 5 years of progressive professional work experience after your bachelor's, or have an exceptional ability as defined by meeting at least 3 of these criteria. On top of that, you have to prove that you're worthy of a national interest waiver. To do that, you have to propose working on an endeavor of national importance and be qualified enough to do whatever you're proposing. In practice, how my friends and I have met these criteria is by having a master's or PhD degree and a few journal papers that have been cited a total of 30 or more times. These are papers that we published anyway as part of grad school research, and we set up a Google Scholar profile to track our citations. All right, now let's break down all the steps you should take to receive your green card. First, you should find an immigration attorney who has a great track record of success for EB-2 NIW green card cases. I reached out to the Ellis Porter group and couldn't be happier. Their service was excellent and worth every penny. Once you sign an agreement with a lawyer, you provide evidence of your accomplishments and other documents. For example, the lawyer may ask you to get recommendation letters from other top experts in your field if they think your case wouldn't be strong enough otherwise. Luckily, I didn't need those recommendation letters. Instead, the main evidence I had for my case was my PhD degree, my current job, my journal papers, and excerpts of a few other top papers that had cited and discussed my research, and finally, my best PhD dissertation award. Once you provide all those documents, the lawyer drafts a petition for your case. The next step is to file Form I-140 along with supporting documents and of course pay the USCIS application fee. Next, you have to wait a few months to hear a decision on your Form I-140 application. You can pay an extra $2,500 premium processing fee though if you want to hear a decision in just a few weeks. In this stage, instead of getting an approval, you may receive an RFE, which is short for Request for Evidence. If the USCIS has some concerns, you may not be qualified. Don't worry if you get an RFE though, it's pretty common. Your lawyer will help you address the RFE. Once your Form I-140 is approved, assuming you're in the US, you should adjust your status by filing Form I-485. If you're outside the US, you should go the consular processing route. For filing Form I-485, you can either do it yourself or hire an attorney, typically the same attorney you use for filing Form I-140. You should also undergo a medical examination by a civil surgeon designated by the USCIS and send all other documentation with your I-485 application. Folks usually also file a Form I-765 with their I-485 application so that they can get an EAD card or employment authorization document, which gives them work authorization while they're waiting for their green card. Once you file your Form I-485, you're gonna have to wait a few months, especially if there's a backlog for your priority date. Before your I-485 is approved, you may be asked to come in for an interview. Luckily, I was spared from an interview. Either way, once you have waited long enough, shortly after your I-485 is approved, you'll finally receive the green card in the mail. Here's the timeline for my green card case. As you can see, the whole thing took about 1.5 years from the time I reached out to an immigration attorney to the time I received the green card in the mail. All right, now let's break down all the expenses I paid to make my green card dream a reality. So first, I paid $32.50 for the I-140 attorney fees. If I had not paid everything upfront and paid in installments instead, it would have been an extra $250. And if my case needed recommendation letters, that would have added another $1,000. And I've heard lately, due to inflation, the fees have gone up another $1,000 or so. The next fee was the $700 USCIS fee for filing I-140. And the next fee was $1,500 attorney fee for Form I-485. Of course, if you file this form yourself, like many people do, you won't have this expense, but for me, the peace of mind I got was totally worth it. The next expense was a $400 medical examination fee by the civil surgeon, and finally, a $12.25 USCIS fee for filing Form I-485. So that brings us to a grand total of $7,075. In my opinion, paying around $7,000 in exchange for having the privilege to live in the United States permanently is definitely worth it. There you have it. Hopefully by now you have a clear understanding of whether you qualify for this green card category, and if you do, how you can get started, how long it takes, and how much it costs. I hope you found this video helpful. If you got any value from this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment or question down below. I'll do my best to answer any questions you may have. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.